The first one's free.
Yeah, that's right. He was leaning out of a van when he did it. But so they're refillable, and that was the first great lure of this. You can buy Copic markers individually, or you can buy them in sets. They also come in color sets. I believe they make 3 or 4 of these black and white sets. I've got 2 of them. I've got the cool gray and the warm gray. One marker costs about $7. A refill that corresponds to that marker also costs $7. So it's a $14 investment. But that refill will work for its corresponding marker 8 to 10 times. So you're getting basically 9 to 11 markers for $14, if you think about it. So yes, it's a little expensive up front, but if there's any way you make a return on your marker work, if you're a professional artist, if you do anything on evening art, that sort of thing, if you're here at the show and you're in Artist Alley, they pay for themselves very, very, very quickly. They're archival, which is brilliant. The alcohol medium that the ink is suspended in evaporates very quickly, so you don't have that sort of. Anybody here ever done something with a Sharpie and then looked at it 10 years later, and it's like, oh look, it's purple, and it's got this yellow urine stain, like a Photoshop Gaussian glow hovering around your art. You're like, wow, they should have that written on the side of a Sharpie. This is not intended for long-term use. These are great. These will look the same 50 years from now. Whatever you produce with them will look the same 50 years from now. Now last year when we did this panel, I made the big mistake of sitting down, yakking my brains out, and I started a piece from scratch. This isn't a how to draw demo. I've only got a limited amount of time. So I showed up with this little Selena Kyle portrait that I had noodled away in my little sketchbook, because it's pretty much all about markers. So I'm just going to start working on it. And
I had some questions, but I also want to make sure that we open it up to the audience. So we'll see if he can, draw and shoot down at the same time. In terms of how to, for the people in the audience who are just starting out, let me ask you this question. Writers are always told, if you're going to be a writer, to write a little bit every day, just in order to, let's say you're doing a job, you're trying to fit this into your spare time. Is it the same with artists? If you're trying to master your craft, is it something that you can do maybe an hour a day after you're done with school, after you're done with the job, or do you really need to devote 6 to 8, 10 hours a day to it?
well, the short answer is yes. Yes to both, actually. But what I like to tell people is that if you have artistic inclinations, if you have a little bit of talent, if you have a lot of talent, when you get to your 10,000th drawing, you are going to be a better artist than you were at your 500th drawing. Depending on your innate skill level, your baseline talent, you might be worlds better, or you might be a little better, but I guarantee you, you will not be the same artist. You're going to learn things, you're going to pick up things, you're going to your lines are going to become more confident, but you're going to cross over thresholds of perception and discovery that you wouldn't get just by, sitting around in a room and thinking about art. And that's one of the great things about art, is like, unless you're holding the pencil wrong, you can't draw too much. It's not like, sports training, it's not like many other endeavors. The more you draw, the better you will get. And if you draw 10, 12, 13 hours a day, well, do the math, you're going to get that drawing 10,000 a lot sooner.
Right.
And so, no, I don't think it's possible to draw too much, unless you actually hurt your hand or strain your eyes.
Jim Lee was talking yesterday that when he started doing it 8 hours a day after he was graduated, he had to soak his hands because his knuckles were hurting. He had to get one of those braces that pull your shoulders back. Just I guess it's just bad form or something.
Oh yeah.
Do you is that still in its still measure?
Oh yeah, I'm halfway on my career goal to being a human question mark. By the time I turn 70, just a little, when I was a kid, kind of a crone, My eyesight, I'm 43 years old, and my eyesight changed about 8 months ago. I just all of a sudden I went, whoa. I used to be able to see this close, and I used to be able to see things further than out here, and that changed. So. it's gonna be a bad day at my house when I go get the bifocals. So I'm just cleaning up some of this loose graphite on here. The Copics, I firmly think that you'll do your best work as an artist if you're working with materials that like each other. If you're working with pencils and brushes and crayons and markers that like the paper, and by that I mean they work well. You don't get a lot of fugitive reaction between the two. You're not fighting the paper with your tools. I like it when they're harmonious, because that way you don't have to worry about technique as much. You worry about the feeling you're going for, the concept. You're worrying about your problems, not whatever laws of physics are making the stuff react poorly. Copics get along they've got a love-hate relationship with graphite. They might smudge a little bit if you use a heavy, soft lead like I do, but if you pencil real light, or if you pencil with a really hard lead, you shouldn't have a problem. So I'm just cleaning this up a little bit. Kneaded eraser.
I was always curious when the inking process starts, how heavy the pencils need to be, how much there really needs to be on the paper. I'm curious if over the course of your career, from your 500 hour to your 10,000th hour, you find yourself penciling less because you're more.
Yeah. I don't pencil as much as I used to. People are always saying, "Oh man, before you go to ink, scan your pencils, and sometimes my pencils aren't even this tight, because I've gotten to a point where I'm going, all right, I know where stuff's going to go. And a lot of times, I'm such a nervous, anal retentive wimp when it comes to drawing, that when it's done, I'll go, my God, that just looks nervous and anal retentive, and like a wimp produced this. Those brush lines are the chicken scratchings of a serial killer. And I've learned that you got to be loose, you got to be relaxed, even if you're the guy who draws, dollar bills for the treasury. You got to be in okay, cool. There's a reason why artists are mostly portrayed as granola chewing earth huggers. You got to be relaxed. Uptight people normally, unless you're Jackson Pollock, don't produce great works of art. And I just learned that the way I can fight my tension is to under pencil and find it in the inks.